Hello again. Last summer, I released a video on this channel about what I saw as the next trend in allowing children to identify as whichever gender they preferred. In the description to this video, I give a link to the piece which I made last year on this subject. I outlined the emergence of the so-called furries phenomenon, in which people claim that their spirit was really that of a small mammal, typically a cat or squirrel. Even a year ago, this was thought to be pretty grotesque, and I was abused for daring to compare this to the question of gender identity. Some people thought, that I was making a mockery of the whole debate on gender identity in children. News in the last few days, though, has vindicated me, and indeed revealed me to have been astonishingly prescient in what I said in August 2022. Only a few years ago, this idea that somebody would believe him or herself to be a cat or other animal was regarded as the height of weirdness. Also in the description to this video, I give a link to a news item from 2008 about an American man who thought that he was a tiger and had various tattoos and piercings to enhance his self-image. He may be seen in the thumbnail to this video. At the time this newspaper article was published 15 years ago, this was thought to be utterly bizarre, and a few articles appeared about men who thought that they were parrots, crocodiles, and cats and so on. It was the outer fringe of madness. At a secondary school called Rye College in Sussex last Friday, there was a lesson on life education, whatever that might be. I rather doubt that it would have been as useful as a lesson on mathematics or physics, but at any rate, the discussion in the class turned to gender identity, and it seems that one of the girls in the class then revealed that she identified as a cat. Several pupils were dismissive of this claim and suggested that she must be crazy, an opinion with which many of us might be inclined to agree. A recording of the conversation which followed was made by a pupil, and I give a link to this also in the description to this video. The teacher was furious to learn that some girls believed that anybody who identified as a cat must be mentally ill, and said that this really upset somebody by questioning her identity. She told the pupils in question that they were despicable and that they had no place at that school. When she discovered that some other pupils believed that girls had vaginas and boys' penises, the teacher was so outraged that she made those expressing these dangerous and radical views stay behind to see a senior teacher. And it was then that she told them that she didn't think they belonged at the school, and that it was people like them who were responsible for there being so much homophobia in the world. All this might be amusing, but now it's come to light that other schools have similar, well, I better not say problems, because that would not be affirming the identities of the girls involved, but similar things happening. In more than one school, pupils are allowed to respond to questions in class by meowing if they identify as cats. One can only imagine the disruption this would cause during a lesson. This then is the logical conclusion once we start allowing children to pretend to belong to the opposite gender. I have said before, and I will say once again, if a man believes himself to be Admiral Nelson, the correct medical treatment for this is not to arrange to amputate one of his arms and blind him in one eye, so that he more closely resembles his mental identity. The proper people to deal with such a delusion are psychiatrists. Encouraging children in this madness is abusive, and those responsible should be removed from the educational system and sacked from the National Health Service.